Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PUCL Podcast.
It's PUCL! PUCL! It's PUCL! PUCL! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PUCL! PUCL!
And welcome to the 544th episode of the PUCL Podcast. I am your host, Trainer Thatch, here today with my wonderful co-host. We've got, some might say, Lord Jushiro.
Some say, hey, PUCL peeps.
And then, of course, not of course, this is actually new. We've got the newcomer, Sharkfinnigan joins the battle.
Hello!
I know, isn't that exciting?
One of us.
Yeah, we'll let him talk about himself a lot more after I do my spiel, right? Where welcome to the PUCL Podcast. PUCL, of course, stands for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2007. And we talk everything Pokemon, from the trading card game to the video game to everything in between. I am very happy to be here, though. But yeah, Sharkfinnigan, new co-host. Yeah, we can, it's like collecting Pokemon cards at this point, right?
We captured a new co-host.
Yeah, we did start doing that recently. We did that for like a hot second, like a while ago. You remember that, Jushiro? When we were making trading cards of everybody.
Yep.
I think I vaguely remember seeing something about that, but I just,
Okay, it was a very short run.
Right.
It was like a very, very short run, because the amount of labor that goes into doing that yourself, very high.
I can believe it.
Very high, because you have to, you find, the reverse holo cards in the TCG set, and then you essentially take acetone, or nail polish remover for the non-scientists, and you go and you just, wipe off the ink from the cards, because the card stock that they use for the reverse holos is different than, a normal Pokemon card. In that it's a little bit easier to, not dig into the paper.
Right.
So you can get the reverse holos, and then you, print the cards on transparencies, and then you lay the transparency onto the card backing, and then you have to, cut it, and it's a lot of labor.
Yeah.
And to get those done.
I've seen a bunch of different type proxy stuff that I've seen online for different trading card games, so I know there's a lot of labor and love going into some of those. Yeah,
it's pretty rough, and I am happy to not be doing it anymore. I think we only did 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I think we did it. There was a Thatch card, there was a Bocephus card, and there was a Whimsicott card, and then there was a Green Tauros badge card.
Oh, I got it.
And there was a trainer card for Green Tauros badge. Shamu actually did a really good job on the art for that, actually. Speaking of Green Tauros badges, by the way, I think those should be coming this week in my mailbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'd be super exciting for all the patrons.
Yeah, it's gonna, at the $10 tier for domestic patrons, they can get it. Or at the, you gotta come up, I gotta, actually calculate shipping for the not domestic US people. Because international shipping is an absolute mess.
Yeah.
The past couple years.
Trust me, that's what I work on, so I know.
It's literally my least favorite thing.
It is.
International shipping is my least favorite thing. But, I want people who are international to, have the opportunity to do it. But they're going to have to pay the shipping cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may just be that you just, any internationals just, DM you saying, hey, I want a Green Tauros badge.
Yeah.
And you just work it out through that, and you figure something out.
So, 5 years ago, I would agree with you. 1, because I was stupid, and 2, because I don't think we would have had as many people come after it. But nowadays, we have so many people who will, come in and, want the Green Tauros pin, that, the 5 exceptions we might have now turns into 20 or 30, right? And that's just enough to make it a nightmare.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Patreon is absolutely horrible for sending out product that you make and that Patreon doesn't make. I should make that clarification.
Yeah.
Because our they don't let you export the addresses in a nice format or anything. It's very bad. It's very, very bad.
Ooh. Well, it looks as long as they look pretty awesome.
From the preprint, it does that. Those are on Patreon. The preprints on Patreon. I'm just waiting for them to arrive at my doorstep, which should be... They said they would ship on May 11th, so May 11th, what? That's Tuesday. So, or Wednesday. It's Wednesday. But then it's probably going to be like 2-day shipping, so it'll be here by the end of the week. Which is good, because I'm going to be in California this week. Anyway.
No.
Yeah, when you get back, right in time for...
The badges to show up on my front door, and we can talk about it next week on the show. It'll be great. But I've taken up too much time. We want to know more about Shark. And where he came from. So I guess just like tell people who you are and like how you found Puckle and give that quick spiel, and then everybody will just accept you as part of the show, and you've always been here.
Give us the deets, Shark.
All right. So the quick history is that I found Puckle back, I want to say it's 2016. It was basically in the I think right around Sun and Moon.
You've been here that long?
I've been lurking, I guess, so to speak, that long.
Because,
I guess,
to be fair, I have no concept of time anymore. But like that's like 2016 is a while ago.
Yeah, I just remember. I think it was like into XY, beginning of Sun and Moon. It's like obviously it's like new game come out. I just felt like I have long drives to work. Needed to find a Pokemon podcast. I tried a few, and this was the one that stuck. So, and I remember submitting, a couple trivia questions through email when that was a thing.
Yes, and then we stopped doing that very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. And then I think around Let's Go, I think I stopped listening just mainly because I was just not interested in Let's Go, and I just kind of fell off Pokemon for that smidge bit. Mm-hmm. But then right around Sword and Shield, I picked it back up again, and then I joined the Discord back in October of, I guess, 2019, I think, is when Swish launched.
Yeah. I know you've been around for a while. I know you have been. I just don't... I have no concept of time. Like, people will be like, yeah, I did this in, like, 2014. I'll be like, wait, what? And I'll be like, I guess I've known you that long. And...
Ever since I started full-time remotely, time is an illusion for me. I have no time what day it is.
It's pretty much like, after the point I stopped taking classes in grad school, it's just all, like, it all just melded together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. And that's totally fair. Because I can say the same for me.
Because, like, most of the time you're just like, yes, that was the year I was also taking this course, which was my junior year or whatever. And then you're just like, Then after that, it just kind of blends together.
Yeah.
It just all blends together. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, man, that's pretty... It was actually really wild the other week. I know he's listening probably, but Casey from WTPT, like, way back in the day, showed up in our server. And we had a pleasant conversation. Like, I really admire him. He's still doing podcasting, by the way, which is really, really cool and impressive. They do a one just like on the Switch. It's called Switchcast or something like that. So I'll give him a plug for free. And no, it was really awesome hearing from him. That was a blast from the past, though, too. That one I actually have dates for, though, and comprehend the passage of time for. Unlike this. Anybody that shows up in Puckle past the year of like 2015, I just have no concept of when they actually joined.
But yeah, I basically joined right as Swish, and then from there it was I won the UUTC for the first launch of Sword and Shield, and then ended up doing Draft League, ended up becoming an admin for it, just kind of been helping around the server, now kind of an on and off regular on the Battlecast, and... Now
you're here. You fully evolved.
Yeah, now I'm here.
You fully evolved. Yeah. There we go. We did it, team. Now this is a Shark. He's been here the whole time.
Yep, pretty much.
He's been here the whole time.
Going back to what you said real quick, are you saying that you lost your concept of time right around where Harambe died? Because that checks out.
I mean, that might actually be true. I don't know.
That could be right.
That could be true.
The timeline matches. 2015, we're around there.
Are you telling me that this has all been a dream? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Oh, okay.
No, this has all been a nightmare. It's all a
dream. Puckle ended years ago.
Yeah, Puckle's... I've been in a coma for the past 7 years. I have no concept of the passage of time.
PA Puckle, post-apocalyptic Puckle.
Yeah, exactly.
Pokemon Underground Champions League.
All right. Well, this is a good place to kick it on over to the news, though. So let's cue that epic music.
Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
And welcome to the news. In the news, we've got pretty much nothing because this week was Golden Week in Japan. Yeah, it is a very big holiday week in Japan.
Spring break, I guess.
We got new art for the next arc of the Pokemon anime. It shows that Elaine is coming back, which is kind of cool, as well as like some other champions of each region.
Diantha.
Grookey is also at Build-A-Bear. I know everybody was waiting for that.
Oh, that's... I'm honestly very jealous and regretful that I never went to Build-A-Bear to get my Eevee. So I totally understand.
I think you could still do that and order it that way, but it's like, if you order it online, you get the sound guaranteed for the Pokemon. And most of the stores don't tend to carry the Pokemon sounds. So if you want your Grookey to actually make a Grookey sound, or Eevee to make Eevee sound, then you have to kind of order it online. With like the bundle where it comes with a bunch of other stuff. But I think you still can get it filled. You think you still get it. You basically take it to a Build-A-Bear to get it filled, put the heart in and all that stuff.
I did it for Pikachu when it first happened, and then I realized I didn't want to do it again.
I need an Eevee one. That's on my to-do list. But other to-do list is in Unite, which, by the way, guys, if you are not playing Unite, I ask to come back. Everyone is coming back. The matchmaking has been great. It's like you hit go and in 2 seconds you're in a game. But Unite is having a great comeback with a big update, which we discussed last week. But now we are entering a zone where we are finally seeing teasing in the marketing for Espeon, the next challenger coming to Unite. It should be coming out this weekend. So, and you should expect that Espeon to drop on May 16. On Friday of last week, we did have a new update with new events and new rewards. So if you haven't tried out Unite, or you maybe tried out when it came out and didn't stick, give it another try, because the game definitely has made some great improvements in it. So I'm enjoying it. I'm playing nonstop. It's great, especially when you have friends. It's on your own. Playing solo might be difficult, but hey, if you're part of PUCL, you have a friend always, or someone always ready to play. So come join us.
Absolutely. Yeah. I guess Pokemon Go. That's you, Shark.
So the big thing coming up this week is starting Thursday, May 12th, the Water Festival will begin, which should be putting Tapu Fini into raids. There are some, you can sneak into the data mine and some stuff that potentially will probably get Dewpider into the game, which will be super exciting. And also, I just saw that there is a potential assets for a Lapras wearing a bow tie that I would assume might be part of this, part of just like a 3-star raid or something. So
I could see it.
It's officially, I think, or at least referred to on the Self Road as Drip Lapras.
Drip Lapras?
No, right?
All right. That's it for the news, but we do have a PUCL's Poke prediction. With the sales data releasing early this week, probably early this week, because we get the sales data about a month after the quarter ends for every Nintendo cycle. So the end of April happened. So we should be getting sales data for quarter 2 Nintendo games here in the near future. We have a question. Will Legends Arceus enter the top 10 Switch games? To do that, it does need to be out Ring Fit Adventure, which still amazes me that that's a top 10 game. Which last reported at 13.53 million. Do we think that Legends Arceus will break into the top 10?
Absolutely. And the reason why I feel this, not because, other than because the incredible hype that this game had when it was coming out, but also, and this is obviously anecdotal, but in my Facebook page, I have a lot of old friends that are not, Pokemon fans, might be gamers, but not for Pokemon, people. And everyone was playing this game. Everyone, all of my friends, non-Pokemon friends were playing it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb though. Yeah, I'm gonna just do it for devil's advocate purposes, but also for the purposes that I think this is gonna be interesting data in general, because let's say that it breaks into the top 10.
Yeah.
That would mean that it sold almost as much as BDSP, which had 2 versions, and Legends Arceus only had 1. I think that's the bigger thing for me. Like it.
Oh, that's true. That is actually a fair. That's a somewhat.
because Pokemon game sales numbers are inflated artificially by the fact that there's two versions, because a lot of people will buy like the dual pack or both. And I don't know that I'm very curious, because these sales numbers will actually give us almost like a hard definitive answer on like what's the percentage of people buying both.
Yeah, that's honestly fair. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I really think that this game is gonna do so well that I think it will. I think honestly, Legends Arceus is going to not only get into the top 10. I think it's going to outsell Let's Go.
I hope you're correct.
I think given the timings and things, I think it's going to outsell Let's Go at this stage.
I don't know if it'll do it by this point. I think it could do it. I could realistically see Legends Arceus outselling Let's Go by the end of this year. For sure.
For sure by the end of this year. I want to say it's going to I'm going to be ambitious and say it's going to outsell it now.
That's very ambitious, I think. But I think it will. I think it will outsell it.
I do agree. And though the point that Thatch you're saying is that's an incredibly good point. I do see also, because of the extent that this went outside of the normal Pokemon fandom, and a lot of people were just so curious because the hype behind this game, and it was very memeable when it came out. People were just showing photographs of all the crazy stuff that they were doing with the Pokemon. It got that hype.
All right, so that's going to be it. We are going to go ahead and kick it on over, though, to Puckle's Poke Quiz, where we're going to quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge.
Hello and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz your co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Professor Snag with the rules. The co-hosts are working together as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that you, the listeners, have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The hosts can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct without using the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
And welcome to the quiz. Thank you for that introduction. We're going to go on ahead, and we are going to ask you guys 5 questions and see how you do. Our first question this week is going to be about Pokemon Go, and it's going to come to us from Lambo. In Pokemon Go, what are the only 2 Pokemon that cannot be used in trainer battles? Honestly, if you give me one, I'll probably just give you the point. But there's 2.
Ditto and Smeargle have to be it, I'm pretty sure.
You would know.
I think it's Ditto because of the transform mechanic, and I think Smeargle because of the fact that it uses a bunch of... it has all those move stuff, and are you
going to lock that in?
You can't use it? Yeah, we'll lock that in. I don't think there's anything else offhand.
You got Ditto, so I'll give you the point. The other answer is Shedinja, actually, not Smeargle. Smeargle's allowed.
Oh, Shedinja. Yeah, no, Shedinja. Yeah, no.
Because of the 1 HP thing, they are in Wonder Guard. They don't have like a workaround for Wonder Guard. Especially with Pokemon Go battles only allowing 2 moves per, or I guess you could get up to 3 moves per Pokemon, but it's, it definitely makes Shedinja a bigger threat. All right. So that's 1 for 1, though. You guys are doing all right there. Woo. Our next question is going to come from, we're going to go from Bam. What is the only 2-stage evolutionary line where the first stage does not have a hidden ability, but the second stage does?
Oh my god.
The other one was an anime question, and I don't know if you wanted that, Jushiro.
That's fair. So, what is the only... So, it's a 2-stage Pokemon where the first 2 don't have a hidden ability?
Well, a 2-stage. So, like...
okay.
First form, second form, right? In TCG terms, stage 1.
Okay.
So, my first thought is thinking about Pokemon that have, like, Levitate, because they tend not to have a hidden ability with it. But then they, like, the second one, they have to go sit on the ground.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad one. I'm thinking... Oh, man, I'm useless in this question. I just have no idea. I'm thinking of baby Pokemon that maybe don't have anything when they're babies, but when they're evolved to the first form, they have a hidden ability. But the only thing that comes to mind is toxicity.
What's its ability? I know for a fact
related,
Toxtricity has 2 or 3 abilities.
Yeah.
But what is Toxel's ability?
Exactly. I don't remember, though.
You do have the hint.
He's gonna need an answer.
I am going to need an answer.
What do you think, Shark? Should we go with what? I don't have no idea.
I think we could go with Toxtricity at this point because I actually So the second stage has the hidden ability, correct?
Yeah, but not the first one.
Okay, no, it's not that. So yeah, no, I think Toxel's a pretty good choice.
Okay, Toxel.
Toxel is unfortunately incorrect, though. I'm double checking this because I feel like I agree with you. I feel like I agree with you. Okay. Toxel does have a hidden ability, and it's Klutz. Wow. Okay. But the answer is actually Ferroseed and Ferrothorn.
Never would have gotten it.
Ferroseed only has Iron Barbs, and it doesn't get anything else. And
really?
Yeah, and then Ferrothorn can get Anticipation.
And how do you get a Ferrothorn with Anticipation if you don't have a Ferrothorn with a hidden ability? That's
a great question that I don't know the answer to. Well, you can do it now with ability capsules, but it is Gen 6 onwards. It didn't have the hidden ability in Gen 5.
So basically, if you wanted a Ferrothorn with the hidden ability, it had to be a gift one, an event one?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to it. I feel like you could have caught it somewhere itself, and it could have had the hidden ability.
Okay.
Actual Ferrothorn, actually, I'm looking and I don't see actual Ferrothorn being catchable, except until Sword and Shield. So I don't know. This is a great question, Jushiro, and maybe a trivia question for next week.
Right?
Because, I'm looking. I'm trying to think.
How do you even get a Anticipation Ferrothorn?
Right. Illegally, of course. That's what I mean.
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to it.
You can't even... Yeah, Sword and Shield's the first time you can actually just catch a Ferrothorn.
Catch a Ferrothorn, right? And that's when the ability capsules came out.
Yeah,
all right.
I think... Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Next question, though, is going to be your Pokedex entry question. This is going to be from Relaxon Snorlax. This is, you get one try, and then if you get it wrong, you get another. But this one has its Ultra Sun entry, and it states, its jaws are strong enough to crush rocks, but so heavy that it can't get up if it flips over. Sandile sees those moments as their chance. Who's that Pokemon?
Can you repeat it one more time?
Dex entry is it?
Ultra Sun. Its jaws are strong enough to crush rocks, but so heavy that it can't get up if it flips over. Sandile sees these moments as their chance.
It's a turtle.
It might be Trapinch.
But it's not that heavy. And it sounds like it might be a turtle, because turtles can't roll over.
I first thought it was, I thought at first it was Dreadnought and whatnot, but that's Gen 7, so I nixed it out.
Yeah.
I know you can catch Sandile and Trapinch in the desert area, and I know Trapinch has like the little tiny leg, so that's why I first thought it was him. Like I could see him.
The heavy part is where the heavy part is where it gets me, because I don't know how heavy Trapinch is, and it doesn't look to be too heavy.
What other? I'm trying to think what else. Because it's gotta be
I'm
heavy.
thinking
gotta be like a turtle or something.
Right, like a jaw, like a strong jaw. But again, that sounds like a Dreadnought, and that's not from that generation. So you got a point there.
It's not gonna be any fossils.
This is Gen 7, right?
It is Ultra Sun.
Ultra Sun. Okay. Oh my gosh, should we use a clue?
We can either use.
Well, you get a free one. You get a free one.
We get the free Dex. Yeah. We can take a shot.
This is for 2 points, or you go for 1. That's your question. You could do that without the hint.
Do you want to go for the other one?
I say let's guess Trapinch first, and then if we get it wrong, we get that extra. We get the free hint.
We can do that?
Yeah, that's how the Pokedex entry question works.
Oh, cool. Okay, then let's guess Trapinch.
Trapinch is correct, so you guys get 2 points there. So you are 3 for 2. The extra entry that we had ready was its shield entry, which says it makes an inescapable conical pit and lies in wait at the bottom for prey to come tumbling down.
Oh, yeah. I did not know that Trapinch was heavy. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, Trapinch is heavy.
I think it's more just got little big head, stubby legs.
Yeah, he's big head, stubby legs. Trapinch, I don't know, is heavy per se, but like, fun fact, I think Trapinch and Flygon have the same base attack.
Oh, wow.
That should be correct.
Yeah.
Because Trepenja's like 95 base attack, which is actually crazy.
So in Little Cup, he's a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but nobody uses it because it's just like, it's way too slow.
Okay. Yeah, which is fair. It's
and
slow,
everything
and it
else
have great defenses,
and
but
its defenses aren't great, but its attack is big.
Right.
But still, it has a niche use. If if it's allowed to use Arena Trap, then it's really good.
Yes. It also gets access to first impression, I think, too. Yeah, it gets a first impression.
Yeah, I've seen it used in Draft League where it just like comes in and just like, oh, something comes in, banded first impression.
Yep.
Oh, it has base 100 attack.
Yeah, base 100. It's the same as Flygon. That's what I was saying. All right, so that gives you guys 3 for 3. We're going to go ahead and give you your next question. Your next question is going to be worth up to 3 points.
Oof.
And this is going to... Oh my gosh, okay. There are 9 answers to this.
All right.
So I don't actually know how to score this. I'm going to say if you get 3 of them, that's 1 point. So you get up to 3 points here. This is from Better Call Sal. What are the 9 types that resist attacks of their own type?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's actually not hard.
Yep.
So you got fire, water, grass.
Those are all correct. Yep.
I want to say psychic.
Psychic.
That's 4.
3
strikes and you're out. But like that's like I'm literally asking you to name half the types. Steel is correct. That's 5.
What about ice?
No, ice does not resist ice. I don't think. I don't believe so.
Okay.
Or at least I'll hold off on that one. If we need the 9th, we may ask ice, but I don't think it's ice offhand.
Okay. Rock and rock?
No. Yeah. No. Rock does not resist rock.
Right.
Because Aerodactyl is weak to rock slide. It's not rock, it's not rock, it's not ground, it's not normal, it's not fighting, it's not ghost, it's not dragon, it's not fairy.
Bug? Bug is resistant to bug? I don't think so.
So far, you've got fire, grass, water, steel, and psychic. So there are 4 more.
We could take a shot at bug.
Bug is incorrect, so that's a strike.
Oh, so bug is not, and then so flying is the last one that I know does not resist itself. So
and dark.
Then that means backtracking.
Dark, right?
Then it's got to be poison. It's got to be ice.
Poison and ice are correct. That's 7. There's 2 more.
There we go.
Dark.
Dark is correct. There's one more. There's one more. I am surprised you did not get it.
It's not normal.
I literally listed every type except one on top of my head.
You did.
Yeah.
You actually did, though.
Yeah, I listed every type it wasn't.
Yeah, you listed everything it's not.
Oh my god, what is it?
Oh my gosh, I am really surprised that you did not get this type.
Just
of the types to be forgotten, this is not one that I would think people would forget.
Wow. Not water, not oh my god. We said grass.
Electric.
There we go. Electric resists itself. Pikachu. Literally Pikachu.
Exactly.
That gives you guys 3 points there. So you guys are 6 for whatever this is for. You can't cash your hint in just as a remember because you got a question wrong. So this next question is going to come from we're going to do Ride on Rocks. What is the grass type Pokemon with the highest base speed of all grass type Pokemon?
I have a thought, but let's go ahead and use that hint.
This is a dual type grass type, and it is a regional form.
Oh, that's interesting.
A dual grass that it's original.
It's a 2-stage line, and it evolves with a leaf stone.
Everything right now. Durr. I forgot about him. I got it. You have an idea, Jushiro?
Give me a second.
I'm pretty sure I've got it now.
The boxing
kangaroo
mushroom.
That's not even. Oh wait, no, that is
maybe
a grass
an electric grass ball of some sort, like Electrode?
Oh,
Electrode is correct.
Electrode, right.
We'll
We'll give you
Forgot
the
about
7 for that.
Electrode.
We'll give you the 7 for that.
Woo!
So Hisuian Electrode has 150 base speed, which just outspeeds the old answer to this question, which would have been
Shaman Sky?
Mega Sceptile with 145.
Right, Mega Sceptile,
Shaman Sky is third though with 127, followed by Sceptile, regular Sceptile at 120, and then the fluffiest co-host at 116.
Gotcha.
Hey.
So that gives you guys 7 though, and that's not a bad outing.
Not a bad outing either. Does that put me in the lead?
It does put you in the lead. I'm still amazed by this. You're actually within one show, Jushiro. You're within one show.
Oof, I guess I'm gonna have to be here till next week.
One perfect episode. You could actually win the whole thing.
But next week I'm gonna have to be there.
So in first place, we currently have Jushiro with 22 points. In second place, we have Seth Vilo with 16. Tied for third, we've got Whimsicott and Claude with 8 apiece. And tied for fifth, we got Sigma and Shark with 7 apiece.
Hey!
Hey, yo! We did it, team.
We did it, Shark.
That is going to be it for everybody has to get on the board. But if you want more Puckle's Poke Quiz, tune in next week. And we should have some more. We're going to kick it on over to the topic. Hey, would you like a green Tauros badge? Well, you can have one. If you come over to our Patreon at patreon.com/puclpodcast, we are going to be giving them out once we hit $850. We're going to be getting those to every patron at the $10 plus tier because we love you guys. We'd love to see this project made. Of course, if we hit any other thresholds on the way there, such as $800 for the week-long giveaways to the community, that would also happen as well. So if you'd be interested in getting a green Tauros badge, feel free. Come on over. If you can't support the show, don't worry about it. You just listening is enough for us. So until then, though, guys, I'm Thatch, and I'll catch you guys on the flip-flop. And welcome to the topic. Our topic today is, are you playing Pokemon wrong? I don't know if that's what we're going to call the episode or not. This really just stems from the fact that I think TPCI really... every time, and Game Freak, every time they release a Pokemon game, they have a very specific way they want you to play that Pokemon game.
Okay.
And then when the fan base goes ahead and tries to play it against the grain, they get upset about it and then like yell that the game's poorly done.
Right. Sounds familiar, yes.
I agree with and disagree with in several different ways because, like, one, I don't think the Pokemon Company should exactly be telling you how to play the game. I think a good example of this is the thing that people really hate that we talk about, the 20-minute timer. But the 20-minute timer is a very good example of this in Sword and Shield, where I don't think that's a good change because they're taking away something that we've previously had. The one that really frustrates me the most, and this is because of my rose-colored glasses to some extent, the one that really bugs me is Gen 2 games. Everybody will go on like their tirades about how it's a horribly balanced game, the wild leveling's really off, the fairest criticism I think of Gen 2 that I think anybody can have is that Gen 2 doesn't put a lot of the Gen 2 Pokemon into the main game. It puts it into the post game.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very fair criticism that you can't catch Houndoom until you go to like Celadon City.
Yeah, Houndoom, Murkrow are the three I remember offhand.
Yeah.
It's like pretty much any dark type I think is locked to the post game minus Umbreon.
Oh, it's Sneasel.
Yeah.
Them too.
Yeah, I think because even Tyranitar is post game, I think.
Tyranitar does make sense to it for it to be post game.
Oh yeah, no, that one does. The thing that is very frustrating about Gen 2 is that they come out with these two new types, right? And to get those two new types is very, very difficult because they only added in 6 Pokemon of each of those types.
Yeah.
Because they added in Tyranitar, they added in Umbreon, they added in Murkrow, Houndoom, and Houndour. Those actually caught in the 6. Both of them are separate. And then there's one more dark type that I am forgetting, Sneasel.
Sneasel, I think, yeah.
Yep. All of those, with the exception of Umbreon, are locked to post game.
Right.
Even Steel types are kind of bad. The only thing that saved Steel type was that they retconned Magnemite and Magneton.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
And they made those easily accessible. I think that one you can get around 4th badge.
Right.
Steelix and Scizor also aren't both locked to post game either because Metal Coat is available before the end of the game.
But they're trade locked.
They are trade evolutions, which sucks. And then Skarmory is actually version exclusive.
That's okay.
Right.
At least you could get it in a game if you want.
Yeah, and then there's one more Steel type I'm forgetting. Magnemite, Magneton, that's 2. There's one more steel type, because I did 6 steel types.
Ferrothorn is from Gen
That's
3.
Gen 5. That's not Gen 2.
Holy snap. Okay.
That's like your concept of time, Jushiro, let me tell you.
I'm telling you, it's out. I'm like...
Oh, Fortress.
Oh, see, but I knew it was kind of one of those grass.
It was, okay, Fortress and Ferrothorn are very similar. You are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. A big ball of steel that only has fire weakness.
A big steel ball. Yes.
Big steel ball, weak to fire. That's literally both Pokemon.
Yes.
I was in the... I may not always remember the exact name, but I'm in the same wavelength.
Yep.
Yep. That was the most... I think that's the biggest issue with Gen 2. But I think the leveling is not the biggest issue, because I think people play Gen 2 incorrectly when they play Gen 2.
And how would you play Gen 2?
So I think the way it was intended to be played, because... So nowadays, like, you and I, Jushiro, will be like, oh, this is a new video game coming out, and then you and I sit down and we binge it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that just wasn't part of video game culture, to sit down and just binge it. You would play it over, a couple months.
Yeah.
That is exactly how Gen 2 is set up, especially with the way they have dailies. If you also look at the region of Johto itself, it's made to be very easily traversable for you to backtrack.
Yeah.
Just based on the way it's set up. You are able to backtrack through Johto very easily, because that is the point. They were expecting you to have to backtrack a ton, because you'd play the game for an hour a day, and then every other day it's the bug catching contest, so you're going to want to go back to Goldenrod for that. So you're going to backtrack, battle some wild Pokemon on your way to Goldenrod, the whole thing. So the idea was that you're going through these routes multiple times. You know what I mean?
They basically, they built that loop. The fact that I even remember one mountain that's between Ikritique and
yes,
and the other one. You have to go through the mountain initially, but once you get surf, you can just skip through that.
Exactly, you can just skip through it. Those are the big things that they did that I don't know that everybody appreciates, because they do make it so you can backtrack through Johto very easily, and that's what they expected you to do. Because say it's a 20-hour game to play through the initial playthrough of Pokemon Soul Silver, that's not too hard. And then you can come up with the argument that, like, the leveling's still bad for post-game, because, like, you have to go beat Red, and Red's Pokemon are, like, level 80.
Right.
I would argue, based on Red's team composition, you might not need level 80 Pokemon to beat him.
Yeah.
His team composition isn't the best. I mean, it's literally Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise, Pikachu,
Espeon and Lapras, or Snorlax.
Yeah, it changes based on Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or Gold, Silver, Crystal. But I think it swaps between the Lapras and the Snorlax.
Yeah.
Because the actual original Gold and Silver Red team was actually based on the manga team at the time.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Oh, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, he doesn't have Espeon.
Oh, that's what it is.
He has, I think Espeon and Snorlax swap.
That's what it is. Because in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, they were trying to make it the red that goes through the adventure, and it's all the gift Pokemon and forced encounters you have.
Mm-hmm.
In Gold, Silver, Crystal, it's based on the manga team that Red had. Because Red has an Espeon in the manga, because he has, like, that super special Eevee that can, like, Digivolve.
Yeah, it could have changed original Eevee forms until they finally evolve into Espeon.
He's got the Digivolving Eevee, so then it gets permanently stuck as Espeon.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that Heart Gold and Soul Silver, or, Gold and Silver, is a game where you can't just, in order for you to play correctly, in order for you to enjoy it, you can't go speed running it. You have to take your time.
I think binging it is the least enjoyable way to enjoy Soul Silver, or, like, just Gen 2. I think that's the least enjoyable way, is just to binge. If you binge it, you're not going to have a good time. You have to take it slow, smell the roses. Do the dailies. Have a good time. Only play it like an hour a day, maybe.
I mean, it does make sense, because one thing that I've always noticed with Pokemon, and it was very noticeable how the TPCI was trying to get around this in the Switch game Sword and Shield, is the fact that, hey, so we have 100 levels, and it's really not that hard to get up there. So what do you do when you're already in your 80s, right? Which is something that might be an extra problem in Soul Silver, since basically reaching the Elite Four is half the game the first time around.
It's like the halfway point. It is really just the halfway point.
So we can't have you power up to level 70 before the half of the game where you still have the other half to go through. So it would make sense that because you have 2 different regions in one game and you have 16 badges and you have the developers want to enjoy that whole thing, you can't level up too fast because you'll be nearly unstoppable by the time you get to the other half 8 badges. So I guess that's where they tried to add that balance. So you would need to take extra time to train.
I find it really interesting that people complain about that because it is meant to be a short game because they did put a large post game in, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you do need to take your time. I mean, it's got the weakest Elite Four, I think, of any game.
Right, because I think that's not the end game though. That's it, which is what people might be confusing. Is when you reach the Elite Four the first time around in Soul and Silver, that's not the end of the game. Yes, there's some credits afterwards and whatever.
Those games are just such giant outliers.
Right. It's really halfway there, yeah. Now you have to go back to Kanto and go through the whole adventure again, and it's so you really don't see the end of the game until you fight the Elite Four for the second time, I believe, at the end.
Well, it's not even. It's mostly Red. Like you're gonna go face Red. I think that's
Red.
the end
That's
game.
right. Yeah. That's the end game.
Yeah,
Not the Elite Four.
That's the end game.
Yeah, Red's the end game. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything like that you guys have encountered? Like this is just something that's very frustrating to me. Like I think. I don't know. Pokemon's been really bad about this, especially lately, I think, where they want to tell you how to play Pokemon.
I definitely know that I know TPCI has changed kind of the mindset as they've tried to realize like how they're trying to market their game and how like what their target audience is.
Right.
And, which is, mostly kids, and just how they like before. Yeah. The grind stuff, that was totally fine to, when we, would only have 1 hour and we would play it that often.
And only under 300 Pokemon.
But nowadays, when people are wanting to play the game faster and, try to,
just binge it,
try to speed through it, they've changed how the grind has happened. And that's obviously kind of rubbed some people the wrong way in terms of like, okay, I think probably I would say the first time it started to really change was Gen 5. Because I think Gen 4, those games are still grindy. They still takes a while. Gen
5 tried to fix the problem, but did it wrong, in my opinion. They tweaked the EXP, but then they're just like, all these Pokemon we're going to put in, we think gaining EXP is too easy. So we're going to make them all evolve at ridiculously high levels. I think that's why I think they fixed the problem, because I really like the way they did the EXP in Gen 5. But I think the problem is you don't get your like power bumps. You still get your power bumps at the same pace, if not slower, from evolution, which is very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the adding those evolutions was a little bit of a misstep, but then it's like with the EXP share all, and like I think Gen 6 being fixed up, just making things easier and easier to grind up your team as you play.
I think the problem that came with it more than anything was the Gen 8 EXP share, not even like the Gen 6 and Gen 7 one, and literally only because it has a toggle off switch.
Yeah.
I think not having the toggle off switch is what people don't like, and I can kind of understand.
Right.
Because like when we used to grind Pokemon, you would feel like a very deep connection to these Pokemon, which is a very dumb thing to say about a children's video game. But you would like feel a connection to these Pokemon because we grinded, we've played with each other, When you get to the XP share, especially the modern day equivalent of it, the pro is that you can swap in new team members without any issue.
Right. Yeah.
But the con is that you never have to play with certain Pokemon because they're just leveling up so fast.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%, and it makes breeding a little bit of a nightmare. Whenever you encounter a world Pokemon and you have baby Pokemon on you, and you just don't want to beat the Pokemon because you don't want to give that XP or the EVs, incorrect EVs to the Pokemon you're trying to breed. So having an off button definitely is something that would be a good thing.
I mean, the biggest thing, and this is something that I got from Linian a while ago, is that just like taking away player choice is always just not a good move.
Right.
Which they did. And if if EXP had always worked that way, I don't think anybody would have noticed.
Mm-hmm. Or at least the first time, yeah.
I don't know. The thing that also really gets me, and this is just a pet peeve of mine, is like when PLA came out, when Legends Arceus was launched, people are just like, I'm going to Nuzlocke it. And they're just like, but how do I even do it?
Right.
And I'm just like, you can't.
You can't Nuzlocke a game like PLI, yeah. It's all about repetition. You can't just remove a whole species.
Yes, exactly, right? I think literally some stuff is locked behind how many things you've caught, right?
Yeah, it's like I think you could almost get away with it. Like you can But you have to, again, make your own rules to figure out how to make it work.
Right. You can put like a temporary knock, like, oh, if my Nidoking got killed, I can't use that Nidoking, and I won't be able to use I'm gonna put a lock on Nidoking for at least, 2 more missteps. And then he can reset back into but I have to catch a new one and train it from 0 again. Maybe that's a way of Nuzlocke, but it is but to your point, and I do agree, I think it is a clash between what the developers are expecting us to do with the game and, of course, what we do to the game, especially if you go competitive. Now, competitive player, and me being a casual player that...
Yeah, filthy casual.
I'm a filthy casual that at least I can watch from the outside in that aspect. Competitive gameplay, it's all about getting into the nitty-gritty and see how you can manipulate the system into your advantage with the things that you have. Now, those tools, those things that you use to break the game, as they say, or to min-max what you need to do, are not always the same thing in every game, in every sequel.
I don't know. I would argue that it has been the same way since like 2003.
Okay. Explain more.
Well, competitive, like in terms of Pokemon, competitive Pokemon hasn't really changed in terms of like EV's IV system since 2003. I mean, they have made things easier, like breeding and stuff like that, which is fine.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else is more like quality of life, I would argue, in that aspect, than being like, oh, we want you to play the game this way or something like that. I think the biggest thing is, like I mentioned before, the timer, where they're just like, 6v6, how about you don't have time to do that? And which is frustrating, not even from like a competitive standpoint.
Right.
One of my favorite things to do when I play through a Pokemon game is, like, if I can find somebody else to play through it with me, is go, hey, every 2 badges or every 2 checkpoints or whatever, let's battle our teams against each other, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Our in-game teams. I love doing this. I can get like an IRL friend to do it, and it's a lot of fun. The problem is that 20-minute timer doesn't even let you do it with like IRL team, like just like in-game teams.
Yeah.
It literally prevents you from doing a 6v6 in that way, which is what the game honestly tells you to do, is like, hey, 6v6s are like the ultimate match, and everybody wants to do a 6v6 single battle.
Right.
It really prevents you from doing that. I'm really hoping that they fix this with Scarlet and Violet, with it being like a new battle system or a new battle engine, it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that gets fixed.
That's the hope, for sure.
Like, that would be the dream.
Yeah.
Like, let's just shove Dexit like hard aside. Like, I think this is a bigger issue.
One feature that I've always wanted a Pokemon game to have, and I know that this is not coming in Gen 9 or maybe ever, is because I do find VGC to be very interesting, and it looks like a lot of fun having to use 2 Pokemon. I wish there's a way you can set the game to the whole game is like VGC, where you use 2 Pokemons at a time always.
It's called Coliseum.
Yeah, they did that once.
What? When? Which one?
In Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness for the GameCube.
Oh, okay.
Those games are entirely double battles.
Okay.
The problem is it doesn't go as fast as you would think.
No? Okay.
You can get some like really crazy shenanigans, because you think if you actually watch a VGC battle, you can have so much going on that it makes it difficult. If an AI accidentally does something wrong, your day just becomes awful.
Right.
Yeah.
And it also, like, I think they have made some tweaks to double battles since Gen 3 as well, where some moves don't do as much damage in double battles.
Oh, yeah. The doubles changed drastically, yeah. That I remember.
So they've changed mechanics with how double battles work several times. I don't know, it's kind of like horde battles in X and Y, I think were a really cool, interesting idea. The problem with it is, I think in practice it becomes very difficult because you need spread moves. And when you first get introduced to horde battles, you have like no spread moves.
None.
Yeah, and it's just like...
It becomes awful.
You have to single target, hopefully KO the one thing. If you can't KO the thing in front of you, it's just like, this thing uses attack, this thing uses an attack, this one uses an attack, this one uses an attack.
I will agree, and I think they have in the past years just really like toned down how many double battles are in the actual game, which is kind of depressing.
It is.
Yeah, actually,
I think they've toned it down a bit, but in Sword and Shield, I really do like that they did Raihan the way they did Raihan.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. No, Raihan is great.
Yeah, I really like Raihan.
That was a great addition, because it basically was a VGC Lite.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they did that with the all gym battles, I think that would actually...
An honest opinion, Jushiro, if you like the snappiness of Unite, you might actually like the snappiness of playing Pokemon VGC, like the VGC style, because those are very snappy. Those matches don't last longer than the 10 minutes a Unite match takes.
Yeah.
I really I was before, like, obviously I'm not a competitive guy. I've really never participated officially. So VGC has always been like an outside thing for me that I've always enjoyed, because I do feel that VGC, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but again, granted, I said that I'm among the most casual of the PUCL co-hosts. I do feel that VGC gives more Pokemon its spot to be able to shine more than singles, and thus for me it makes it better.
I think it only does that because of the way the metas are set up. Because in VGC they usually just have a broader ban list, just like you can't use this Pokemon not because this Pokemon's broken, like they would do in OU or something.
Oh, but I'm not speaking. Sorry. So when I do know that when I say VGC, I'm also adding there the extra rules that comes with it, the banning and all that stuff. But I'm looking at more like in a sense of crossing the game in dual mode. Instead of just using one, you can always use two, so that way you can combine, use their abilities. I might
argue. I'm gonna look in the data and then I'm gonna argue with you in DMs. But
okay,
I think you have to be basically a really good team builder to make some Pokemon that are like very niche, in competitive generally work. But I agree that you can make more Pokemon work as long as you A, build the role, and B, are able to set up a role.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, the big example is the Pachirisu from World years back, where it had a straightforward role, nuzzle to her, to mess with the opponent, and just a bunch of shenanigans that it was able to do. That it was set up, it was the right place, right time, did its role.
I'm going to follow on that. I agree that you could get more Pokemon to do random stuff like that in VGC than you would in OU. I think the level curve to team building is much more linear in OU than it is in VGC. I think VGC's the level curve is much more exponential.
And it shifts a lot. I think depending on the metagame, it can shift quite variably, because if you're trying to outspeed a certain threat, and actually the new threat comes up, you have to move your speeds up and down accordingly. Yeah,
the VGC meta that was really bad, actually, or not bad, but like was hard to get into because of the level curve and the amount you had to pay attention to the meta, was actually the 20 I want to say 20 it was either 2016 or 2017 circuit. The first one was Sun and Moon. So 2017, VGC 2017.
Yeah.
Right.
That one was the worst because everything actually worked. Like everything worked. But the problem was it was like a giant rock, paper, scissors game where like this team core beats this team core. And the problem was you'd have one team core win a regional and then like the next team core would become popular to beat that one. And so you just have this like rotating like wheel of team cores that would just go through.
Isn't that a healthy meta though?
Yes, I would say it's a healthy meta. My only complaint would be, as somebody who's trying to get into it, it's a lot to try to follow.
I can see that.
Because in OU, you can at least go, oh, hey, I've got these 5 Pokemon that I know are good, and then I can sub in a 6th one and play around that way. There was, in 2017, I wouldn't say there was like a safe team that you could bring and still like do okay. Like, I'm not talking about winning the tournament, but like if I went to a regional, I'd like to have a team where I could be like, I could go 4-4 in an 8-round day. I don't know that there's a team that like you could just like spill out in 2017 and be like, you can do this.
But again, it's focusing more on the game. But just before we jump to the next part.
I don't have any next part. I'll listen to you. You are the next part.
The other thing why I feel like there's some Pokemon that are missing out when you can't do VGC or dual, like just call it double tap battles. Pokemon like Oranguru. I wanted to use Oranguru Sword and, in my place in Sword and Shield, but I was like, why? I am not gonna use doubles and barely any doubles in this game, and I'm not in his abilities and all the cool stuff that he would do, because that's kind of like why this Pokemon was created.
It is a design for doubles Pokemon. Much better than like Volbeat Illumized plus Ulminum nonsense.
Right.
But it is 100% developed for double battles. I do understand.
Right, yeah.
I do understand that. I don't think that VGC or OU is better than the other. I think they're just different.
No. Two different metas, yeah.
I think they're just different. Like, honestly, I really enjoy VGC. I think it's fun to play. But there are those days where I'm just like, man, I just want that one big full out brawl.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
VGC I see as a very good, like, I want a very fair Pokemon match that's going to show me who the best Pokemon player is right here. That's VGC.
Right.
But if I want a match where it's just like, I want like a high stakes football game, you know, if I want that, that's 6v6 singles.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. You have so many more turns in a singles battle just by the nature of it.
Yeah. That's why they're aware of that. And like they do the best of 3 on purpose to kind of wash out like will-o-wisp misses and stuff like that.
Right.
They're very good about it. I don't know. There's merits to both metas. They are definitely pushing VGC, I would say, based on everything they've done.
Mm-hmm.
And how they've essentially killed BSS on cart by going to the current meta. I would just like to be able to do it. You know, that's all I'm saying, Pokemon. Let me do it. Let me have some fun. I mean, they've also been moving away from full 6v6 battles, like in cart in gameplay as well. If you look at Sword and Shield, the only times you play a full 6v6 match are whenever you're battling Hop or whenever you battle Leon.
Is not none of those 6v6 the tournament Galar tournament?
I don't even know if the tournaments do 6v6 in the tournament. I think it might be 5v6.
Yeah, if it's 5v6.
Because I know it was a big deal because Leon went ahead and made it 6v6. I don't know. I don't want this to be like a huge wine fest because I still enjoy VGC.
Right.
I really like it. Granted, we're in GS Cup meta, so I don't enjoy it as much. And we're about to talk about a team from that meta anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. That's always the...
Yeah, nobody ever likes GS Cup meta. Let's be honest. Nobody likes GS Cup meta.
Nope.
When you can bring 2 box art legendaries, there's always something broken because they made one legendary way too good. It just ends up overrunning the meta, which is exactly what's happening right now. Like, let me look at the Puclpodcast while I'm thinking about it, because like,
yeah,
Zacian's at like a stupid high usage right now. Actually, there is a Pokemon with higher usage than Zacian right now, and it won't surprise anybody who's familiar with VGC.
Oh.
Kyogre!
Jushiro, take a guess. What Pokemon's at higher usage than Zacian in VGC right now? At 66% usage on 66% of every team in VGC. Who do you think is there?
Oh, I know. Oh my god, Lethe.
If you're gonna say Landorus Therian, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong.
No. It's the fire starter from,
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yep, Incineroar. There you go. Yep. You were correct.
You're correct. I forgot. I blanked out for 2 seconds. Yeah, of course he is.
Incineroar. Yep.
Incineroar is at 66% usage. Zacian Crown Form is at 59% usage.
Yeah.
And then it starts to drop off pretty hard. From 59% usage, you go down to 35% usage and you find Kyogre. Then you find at 27% Groudon, 27% Grimmsnarl. That I think VGC has way more wild swings like this in terms of usage than OU does. That's why I want to argue with you in DMs, because VGC does have wild usage stats like that. I believe at one point Incineroar was at 90%. Like 9 out of 10 teams have Incineroar, and we used to complain about Landorus when it hit 50% usage.
Right.
That's just like some food for thought and how much VGC does centralize certain Pokemon.
Right.
I think they have a better power though to be able to like really get rid of them. Like my favorite meta so far has been in all of Pokemon in the past 3 years has been when they banned like the top 10 Pokemon in usage.
Okay, that was fun over that summer. That was like my favorite. Fun.
That was my favorite like 3 months in VGC where they just like
there were some fun casualties because of it too. Because it was not only doubles, it was singles. So it was the top 10 from both were just nixed.
It was great. I loved it. It's still my favorite.
One thing that playing Unite and learning how MOBAs to a certain extent work. One thing that I found out from other MOBA games is the ban feature, which is that when you are going to play a match, players can actually vote as to who to ban. So
That's
people
fair.
don't use overpowerful characters on whatever match they're on. And I was just thinking that maybe for not obviously 6 versus 6, but if you're doing a match, the ability to maybe ban one of your opponent's Pokemon and he can ban one of yours could be interesting into saying like, oh, I don't want to fight Incineroar, I'm going to ban his Incineroar, and then go like, well, I'm going to ban your one, and then you have to fight with whatever you have remaining.
That's an interesting thought. If we should put that in the tournament committee.
That could be a fun little match that we could do here.
Yeah, we could do that in Puckle. Yeah, we should put that in tournament committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're either like a 3v3 or a 4v4. It's like
Right. You do a 3v3 versus through, and you're like, yeah, well, you can use not that one. I don't want you to use that one, and then they choose one for you, and then you have to pick from the remaining 5.
All right. Well, I'm going to make a stop here so that we don't just go on like how much we love Pokemon.
Too late.
Yeah, right. So we're gonna wrap it up here, and we're gonna kick it on over to Puckle's Pokemon of the episode. So let's kick it on over to that. We'll catch you guys on the flip flop.
Poke of the episode.
And welcome to the Pokemon of the episode. Our Pokemon of the episode is National Dex number 693, Clawitzer, the Howitzer Pokemon.
Its Ultramoon Pokedex entry writes, its right arm is packed with meat. When its pincer falls off, it's exported to be used as a cooking ingredient.
Thanks, Pokemon.
Yum, yum. Red Clawlet.
Actually, it does get red. As shiny as like so. Like Gen 6 is like when they decided to start doing good shinies for all the Pokemon.
oh yeah.
And so it does actually have a good shiny. Like this is back when they started actually like designing shinies.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll use different shade of blue.
Well, it's just like, let's do the palette swap to this many numbers, and then it's just like, well, my eyes can't distinguish that, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Gibble.
Yeah, poor Gibble.
But Clawitzer is actually a really interesting Pokemon because it's one of the few Pokemon that actually get Mega Launcher as an ability. It's its only ability, in fact.
Right.
But Mega Launcher, for those of you who are not aware, because Mega Blastoise doesn't exist anymore. I think Mega Blastoise is the only other Pokemon that actually got this.
Yeah, I think it is the only other Pokemon.
It boosts the strength of Aura and Pulse moves by 50%, which is pretty decent. I mean, that's extra stab just because it's a Pulse.
Right.
There aren't that many of these moves, by the way.
Yeah.
But there's a couple. The Aura Sphere gets boosted by this by 50%. Dark Pulse gets boosted by this. Dragon Pulse.
Water Pulse.
Water Pulse. Origin Pulse technically would, but it can't learn it. Terrain Pulse.
Dark Pulse. Heal Pulse.
Yeah, Heal Pulse. I don't know how many of those Clawitzer actually gets.
He gets actually a good chunk of those, to be fair.
He does get Dark Pulse, Water Pulse. I do not know if he gets Dragon Pulse.
Yeah.
Does he?
He does. It's one of his moves that you can teach him through
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah.
Good for him.
You got the main ones, for sure.
Yeah, he learns Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, Heal Pulse, Water Pulse, Outer Sphere, and yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. He gets a lot of that.
Yeah, I think the only one he doesn't get is whatchamacallit, Origin Pulse.
Yeah. Well, that's Kyogre. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's fine. He gets everything else that would get boosted by it, so.
Wow. Good for you, Clawitzer, being a good Pokemon.
Oh, he also learns through Isle of Armor move tutor. He learns Terrain Pulse.
Yeah, that's a new move from Isle of Armor.
Oh.
Fun fact, it's really fun to use Terrain Pulse with with the Tapu Koko to give it electric stab so you can actually deal with the bulky waters that try to wall this thing.
Yeah.
Really fun. It really would work well in doubles. Not on this team you can this team doesn't use it.
No, this team doesn't use it. It uses the Clawitzer as like a fun, I don't know, just a fun mod, it looks like.
It does. He does look like a fun mod.
A really strong breaker.
Yeah, this team comes to us from Soap, but I do want to list off the base stats, so mostly for my reference and nobody else's, because I don't actually know Clawitzer's base stats. Okay, 71 HP, 73 attack, 88 defense, 120 special attack. That's great. 89 special defense and 59 speed for a base stat total of 500. That's a very funny way to get to 500, but I'll take it.
Right.
I mean, 71's a weird base stat total. But yeah, Clawitzer's on this team with its Mega Launcher ability with 252 HP EVs, 252 special attack EVs. It's running a Quiet Nature just to kind of give it a little bit more bulk. And you don't really care about how fast you're going, especially on this team. You do not care how fast you're going.
Right.
And it's got Dark Pulse, Water Pulse, Heal Pulse, so you can do a little bit of recovery with your Clawitzer. It's like something that can hit pretty hard, but at the same time, like give you a little bit of support. And then it's also running flip turn, so you can get that, you can get in the back if you need to get in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Which on this team looks like it's necessary. This team also comes with one of like the other Pokemon I thought could have been the poke of the episode as well, but also Hitmonchan.
Oh, yeah.
Hitmonchan has a Life Orb with Inner Focus as the ability. 4 HP, 252 attack, 252 special defense, because Hitmonchan's special bulk is actually really high, it turns out.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brave Nature, because we're going to go slow. And we've got Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Drain Punch, and Quick Guard. Quick Guard is super cool to prevent priority. I really actually love that tech.
Fake out shenanigans for sure.
Prevents fake outs, can prevent Sucker Punch, anything like that. So that's actually really exciting.
Pranksters.
Pranksters too, yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is already looking fun. I can't wait to see what we got for Trick Room setup. So, I don't know. Somebody else take 2 more. I don't care which 2. Jushiro will cover you.
Okay. So, let's go with who is Amongoose. You've seen Black Sludge, the ability Regenerator, and its EVs is 252 HP, 4 defense, and 252 special defense. It's Calm Nature with its 0 IVs, which I understand is very difficult to get, on attack and speed. It's 4 attacks, 4 for the sleep, Rage Powder, Pollen Puff, and Protect. I've heard that Rage Powder is like incredibly good.
Yeah, it's redirection. Follow me.
Yeah, okay.
It's just follow me.
Yeah, this is a super supportive.
Nice. Okay. It's a taunt. It's an actual taunt.
No, not taunt. It's redirection. So if
No, not right, not Pokemon taunt, but every other game taunt.
yes.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Just bring the attention onto him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amoonguss is really good for that. And it actually has Pollen Puff. Pollen Puff is a really fun move too, because it can both heal and do damage to the opponent. If you use Pollen Puff on an ally, it heals the ally, but if you use Pollen Puff on an opponent, it does damage.
All right. I thought that this was a move that only Vespiquen would learn.
No, I think it was Ribombee for a while, but I think...
Yes, it was a Ribombee, but Gen 8 made it not an exclusive anymore, similar to what they did with Aura Sphere, Mystical Fire, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they took it off.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Made it TR.
They made it TR. Because what they did was when they called a lot of the moves, and specifically Hidden Power, a lot of things lost coverage because they lost Hidden Power. And to kind of make up for that is they gave a lot of Pokemon moves through TR.
That they didn't originally have.
Yeah, it's just so that they had a little bit more coverage. Like, I think a good example of this is something like Sylveon, where Sylveon has like Fairy and Normal type moves, and that's it in its move pool. And then everybody would compensate by putting on HP Fire. So what they did is they actually gave it Mystical Fire in Gen 8.
Right, okay.
That way you no longer had the hidden power like, what type is it going to be?
Right.
Where the answer is typically like Fire, Ice, or something. It was like 3 types.
Right.
And it was, so they kind of just like helped you know like this Pokemon has access to these moves. I mean, I think removing hidden power is one of the healthiest things Gen 8 did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take that. But yeah, one more Pokemon, Jushiro. Give us one more.
Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll give you Dialga. With an Adamant Orb, its ability Pressure, its EV spread of 252 HP, 252 its special attack, and 4 on special defense, a Quiet Nature, and an IV of 0 on attack. Its 4 moves are Trick Room, Roar of Time, Flash Cannon, and Thunder.
This is one of our Trick Room setters, which I really like. I always like running Dialga as a Trick Room setter.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does a good job of it.
Yep.
Roar of Time is a little...
It's a little out there, but I think this just may be one of the Pokemon that Soap is primarily using as a D-Maxer. It just gives you that much more power boost.
Yeah, if he's going to go big and Dynamax, that's what you should do. Which I imagine is the plan with Dialga.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like a Trick Room setter or backup Trick Room setter.
Yeah, it sets up Trick Room and then go big, you know?
Exactly. Use its Stab and Thunder just for coverage kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can hit those Kyogre.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you take the other 2, Shark. You can finish us out.
All right. So, in addition to Dialga as the Trick Room setter, you have one of the better Trick Room setters in VGC since pretty much launch is Hatterene, specifically the G-Max form. It's holding a Focus Sash with Magic Bounce, which kind of keeps it from getting harassed by a lot of these status moves and things like that. 252 HP, 252 defense, force of attack, relaxed nature with no IVs in attack. It's got Trick Room, Dazzling Gleam, Giga Drain, and Protect.
Yeah, I mean, this is your other Trick Room setter, which is the pretty standard one.
Oh.
The Giga Drain's kind of neat tech, though. I'm kind of a fan, actually.
Yeah, it's probably good versus other Kyogres.
Other Kyogre or...
Potentially the Gastrodon.
Yeah, Gastrodon. Well, this team, you do need a Gastrodon answer on every team, and it doesn't have one with Pollen Puff on a Moongus, so I can see Giga Drain sitting there to take that.
Yeah, you need something to get rid of that.
Yep.
Because, yeah, with Claritzer sitting in the back and this other Pokemon, you need something to deal with the Storm Drain.
Oh.
And to help Claritzer really pop off here, you've got Kyogre holding Mystic Water with Drizzle, so that way your Mega Launcher Water Pulse does a lot more damage. It's got 252 HP, 252 Attack, Quiet Nature, with the moves Origin Pulse, Ice Beam, Scald, and Protect.
Boom. Yeah, that's pretty standard Kyogre, actually. This team, I like this team a lot because it has 252s on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a very... Trick Room teams are very easy to IV for, in terms of, just as long as you can get the 0 speeds on whatever you need.
Yep. Well, that's easy to do if you're a patron, because we'll give them out with 0 speeds over at patreon.com with Shiny. I will be gone this week, but I'm going to try to set up like 2 bots just in case like one fails. The other one maybe will stay alive.
Oh, okay.
Though they've been really stable lately. They've been very stable lately.
Yeah, that's good.
We're probably going to set up a couple. Yeah, so if you want the team, come to Patreon. If not, you can get the paste. It'll be incredibly exciting. So on that note, we are going to go ahead and kick it on over to the end of the show, but also to the mailbag.
It's mail time! Send in your emails! Mail!
And welcome to the mailbag, the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com and get your email read on the show if we select it. We get a lot of emails each week, so we apologize if we don't get to yours. But if we do read yours and it sparks a really decent discussion among us, you will be eligible to win the Green Tauros badge, because we're sponsored by Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives us hooves. Get away from me to say hooves. There you go. Sorry. I said a little backwards today. I apologize. I was off pace.
I got so excited.
The energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves.
There you go. There we go. Okay, we'll fix it next week. We'll tighten that up.
We'll fix it in post.
or our contracts are all gonna go out the window.
Revoked. Yeah, we don't want that.
Last week we asked you guys what kind of gym leader you would be and why, and I would love to see what you guys have to say. So we got a couple emails that we're gonna grab. Our first one this week is gonna be from Brent's with a Z, or AKA Bean Boy.
Bean Boy!
We're just going to call you Bean Boy. Forget the Brent's part.
Bean Boy's an excellent name.
Bean Boy's a much better name.
Yep. Hello once again, Puckle Crew. I fortunately have thought this question through a while ago. If I was a gym leader, I would be a light gym leader. All the Pokemon I would use would have something to do with light, or can use the move Flash. I would wear lots of shiny jewelry and bling, and my gym gimmick would be that during the battle. Your Pokemon every turn would get confused by all the shining lights and all around the gym, and the only way to snap out of it permanently is to turn the brightness down all the way in your Switch. Oh, that's pretty cool.
I don't like the solution to it, but I like the idea of having stadium effects take part in your gym battle so that you're at more of a disadvantage.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the concept of unfair fights in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because I think the best challenge I've had in Pokemon thus far in terms of in-game play has been the trials from Sun and Moon, where they were just like, hey, here's 2v2 Pokemon. Or here's 2v1 Pokemon. I think that those are the best, and I would love to see some kind of stadium effects take precedent in the battle.
They've kind of did a little bit with Sword and Shield, just a smidge. First you have Glimwood Tangle's whole gimmick where you had to answer the questions mid-battle, and if you got it right, you got a boost, but if you got it wrong, you got a a negative boost.
Yeah, the problem I have with that kind of stuff specifically is that they have to make it easy enough for kids to do it, right? I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of media that is kid friendly, but isn't stupid. You know what I mean? Like where you can still have kids play it and kids can enjoy it, but you make it in such a way that adults can also enjoy it. I mean, early Pokemon anime is a very good example, I think.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I'm a big fan of that kind of media. So I wish they could make it better.
But then also the other one that I actually think could be good if you did more of it would be the Isle of Armor.
Yes.
The last battle you had with your rival in there, where they literally set up either toxic spikes or psychic terrain to start the battle with. That I think is clever.
That is clever. I like that a lot.
If you're not like prepped for it, it's just like, what's going on? That it can actually really put you at a disadvantage if you're not prepared.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of fun.
That's a good point.
Continue on, says, I feel this will enrage a lot of fans if it were to actually happen, but that's all part of the fun. As for the TM I would hang out, it would have to be Flash. Not that it's a good move, but it fits the theme and it makes perfect sense. The team I would use are Chandelure, Lantern, Castform, Sunnyform, Solrock, Clang Clang, and Mr. Mine. Brief team explanation, Chandelure is literally based on the light source used by humans, so is Lantern. Castform is a representation of the sun, which by the way, is a source of light.
Who would have known?
I love the by the way there. As we wouldn't know. So is Solrock. Clang Clang can use flash and is made of metal, so it can reflect light relatively well. And Mr. Mime is a very random one, but the explanation for it will make sense. Basically, one of Mr. Mime's main moves is reflect, and that can be used to reflect light at the opponent. Not really in the games, but more for something that will do if it were in the anime. And for my ace, I would think it would be Mr. Mine. I hope my explanation makes sense. Thanks, Brent, aka Bean Boy.
So, fun fact, as a physicist, I know this thing. Everything can be a source of light. Everything can if you get it hot enough.
That's fair.
That it will glow. Everything will glow if you get it hot enough. Just a fun fact, you know. Just a fun fact, because that's kind of how radiation works, and that's kind of how the sun works a little bit.
Yep.
The sun also does other things. There's a lot of other things going on in the sun. It's very complicated, but
it's fusion.
Fusion and like some other things, yes. All right, our next email is going to be from Jazzby, and I think Shark's got this one.
Yes. Hello, Puckle Crew. I wanted to start off by saying that this is my first email into the podcast.
Woo, welcome.
I have been listening since 2018 when I needed something to listen to on my daily work commutes. I think that's pretty much everyone.
I'm glad I can make work commutes a little less worse.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is easily my favorite podcast, and she listens to a lot. So thank you, co-host, for making this podcast fun and interesting with each new weekly topic. I know this was a few episodes back, but I wanted to share a thought that I had based on Thatch's idea about the type-focused battle gimmick that is being predicted for this generation. What if this gimmick is a method that allows for certain Pokemon to temporarily change into its true form in battle, as in a different type entirely? Example of this would be Gyarados, since we all know Gyarados should be a dragon type. So what if the gimmick allows for it to become a pure dragon for X amount of turns in battle?
I think that would happen in my interpretation of what my prediction is, where they're just going to let you change one Pokemon's type for like 3 turns. And whatever, and you get to choose that Pokemon. Maybe it's a held item or something, which I think is always balanced. That's why I think Dynamax was a little busted, but you get like 3 turns to change the type of this Pokemon, but you burn an item in the process or something like that.
Yeah. It has some potential for sure. I think this one being different in terms of it being like based on like what it's maybe like a true like ancestral form.
I think that's just like too much work.
And you remove all types, and it just becomes the one type.
Well, I think you could still become the one type. The other thing that some leak came out with that's kind of along these lines, well, leak in quotes, heavy leak, that's some rumor that's floating around that's probably not true, because they predicted that there was going to be a Pokemon update on May 7th, which is a Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't see any updates.
Yeah, well, yeah, today is Saturday, but also they never do them on Saturdays.
Yeah.
but they said that it would be like the gimmick would be like some Pokemon that like combines with all of your Pokemons to change its type or add a third type. I think adding a third type is a very interesting way to do it. I think it complicates things. I think it's a much more complicated method than just being like, I'm a water type and I was a Charmeleon.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's way easier.
Oh, yeah, no, adding a third type will completely change the whole game, and they will have to do a whole rebalancing.
Yeah,
of it.
things would get a little nutsos, because, like, you would just end up adding steel to, like, most things, right? Like, that's how that works.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and that's the reason why they said that Fairy was going to be the last type to be added to the game, at least for a long while, because it's so hard for them to rebalance the game every time they introduce any changes to the types, adding a type or whatnot.
I think just taking a Pokemon and changing what type it is for 3 turns or something like that is a completely reasonable thing to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They felt it could be a new, interesting way to plan out strategies if you can have one member of your team that could change its type. A few other examples that I thought of were Seaking to Electric type in reference to its Lightning Rod ability, Sunflora to Fire type in reference to the Sun, and Flygon for Pure Bug for obvious reasons. Probably won't happen, but it's fun to imagine nonetheless.
Yeah, I wish we'd get forms like that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
this reminds me of that TCG set.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Delta Species.
Yep.
So, fun fact, I've got a Delta Species cube for Pokemon TCG drafts that we should do at some point.
Ooh, that is awesome.
I have a Delta Species cube. Yeah, we should set up something like that again. We did it once a while ago, but it'd be fun to do another cube draft.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
As for my gym, I would probably do a folklore/fantasy theme and make my gym look very similar to the Glimwood Tangle, with exceptionally lots more giant flowers, mushrooms, fairy strings, along with bird cages, troll bridges, and so forth.
Ooh, like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
I would have all my gym trainers use fairy Pokemon and hide little houses in reference to the fantasy folklore. Things like a gingerbread house, the house of cards from Alice in Wonderland, a hobbit hole, a giant shoe, and for the main battle stage, the trainer would find me seated at the very end of a long table, ready to have a tea party with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We would sit for a few minutes, chat, have some Pokemon-themed biscuits, then once we had our tea, we would engage in battle. I will hope my gym tricks the trainer into thinking I only have fairy types, only for me to send out the following team. Miss Magius, Cantonian Rapidash, Milotic, Lycanroc Midnight Form, Dragonite, and Sableye. And I would absolutely dress as the Mad Hatter. Yeah. I actually think it would be kind of a fun concept, just like that fantasy, like tricking you kind of thing.
I like it.
Down the rabbit hole.
Yep. I think that's the future of gyms. They have to step away from, we just want to use one type, and more just embrace a theme.
Well, I think you're gonna have to wait until at least Gen 10 for that. I really feel like we're gonna have such a focus on the type generation in Scarlet and Violet.
I think I think given the Central Plaza, it is gonna be heavy types. Type seems to be a focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think type is going to be a focus, and unfortunately they're going to be like, yeah, we have 18 gyms, one for each type. And
oh my god, you sure?
I'll take it.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, and then you don't have to beat every single one to make it to the end or something like that. I don't know. I would love for that to be true, Jushiro. I might be wrong, and that's fine. But even if you look at like Sword and Shield, they developed a lot of gyms. They developed more than the 8, right? Because they came out with, at least I can think of 10, right? Gyms. They already did 10 in Sword and Shield. I'm sure they could come up with 8 more in time for Scarlet Violet.
And technically more gem leaders that they reference.
Exactly.
Which technically references to more, because you have your 2 rivals make 12, and then Marnie and Bay both have different teams of the same type, so they technically can have more.
Marnie just overlaps with Pierre, but yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's very doable. I think it's absolutely doable. So, I would put my money on that being a possibility.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at like 40% that will happen. Like, that's how certain I am. 40%.
It's something.
Until the next trailer, right?
Right. Which should come soon, right?
I would say within the next month.
Yeah, It should be before E3.
But E3 doesn't exist anymore, so...
Yeah, it's a summer Games Jam or something is basically taking its spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's I would say between now and the first 2 weeks of June, there will obviously be a Nintendo Direct, but there probably will be a Pokemon Direct separate. That's what they did with Swish and IOA.
Yeah, they usually do it a week before.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so one more email left to go. It's going to be from Zachary. Greetings, Puckle crew. Zachary here to talk about the gym system in Scarlet and Violet and what kind of gym leader I would be. Let's start with the gym system. I think that there should be a more intricate gym problem system that would be closer to the non-Breath of the Wild dungeon puzzles from Zelda. This would add a nice layer of intricacy to the gyms. I don't know. I don't want to have to get a hook shot in Pokemon. And pull things closer to me. But I would love better puzzles in Pokemon. I still think the puzzles should just take place out in the world and not in the gym.
Right.
You think about the anime and how Ash had to earn the right to do the gym battle. I want that.
Right.
So Scarlet and Violet are going to be open world games. I think that the order of gyms would be up to the player to decide with what Pokemon, their levels and movesets changing depending on how many badges you have. I think that's perfectly reasonable and will probably happen.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I think the gimmick of the region should be front and center as in Sword and Shield. I don't think Dynamax was actually front and center in Sword and Shield, but that's okay. I do not think there will be a Spectrum type change thing, but whatever it is, it should be really important to the story. But now to what type of gym leader I would be. An ice type gym leader, obviously. The gym would be situated in the mountains, a reference to the Pyrenees. The puzzle would revolve around navigating snowy miniature mountains. Can they be cutouts or something really badly done?
That would be cool, like a children's theater set.
Yes.
Yeah.
My team would include 2 regionals, an Icy Mountain Aggron, an Ice and Steel type with Slush Rush or Snowveil, a Spanish Inquisition Beartic, Fire and Ice type with a new ability named Inquisitor that is basically download. Yep, you heard that. Spanish Inquisitor Beartic. I think that one's probably not happening, but...
Yeah.
There would be a different evolutionary stages depending on how many badges the challenger has. The rest of the team would be Weavile, Lapras, maybe a pirate ship Lapras. That would be a nice regional. No, but okay. And Snom. Anyways, this email is going on for too long. I hope you have a nice day. Ice-type trainer Zachary.
Lapras with a patch sounds amazing.
Just the eye patch I'm into, but a whole pirate ship on its back, I'm not into, okay?
Oh my god. That if they ever add Lapras to Unite, that would be a fantastic holoware for it.
It would be.
Yeah.
Put it a fake beer and a patch, and one of its fin, it's a peg leg.
Yeah. So Green Taurus badge, I think we give it to Jazz.
I think so too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right, Jazzby, you got it. Just let us know, and we will give it to you. Other than that, if you want to email us next week at puclpodcast@gmail.com, the question we talked about, I don't even know what we talked about today because it was all over the place, but
it was all over the place.
Yeah, if there's a certain way that you like to play Pokemon, what is it? Do you like to do Nuzlocke? Do you like to just play through the story as is? Do you monotype runs? Tell us. Let us know. puclpodcast@gmail.com. You can, of course, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the what's not. Whatever those are, Facebook, Twitter, yeah, okay, those are all of them. You should, of course, come to our Discord at pucklediscord.com. You can help us out by coming and supporting us on our video channels over at youtube.com/pucklepodcast or at twitch.tv/thepucklepodcast, though I am not streaming this week because I will be in Monterey, California for work, and I will not have access to my streaming gear, obviously. But we will do that when I return. Of course, you can also support the show by going over to Patreon at patreon.com/pucklepodcast. Get access to shiny Pokemon, the ability to pick topics, which I do need to make that post today so that you guys can make a selection for a topic here in the near future. And go ahead and just hang out with us in general. I really appreciate everybody who supports the show in that way. So yeah, that is everything. So I have been Trainer Thatch.
Some say it Jushiro.
And I've been Shark.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.
It's closing time in Lavender Town. Time to say our goodbyes. It's closing time. Farewell, my friends. upside